Hi lovies, and welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Malinda's channel. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload a video, you will be the first person to be notified. And to my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos and also educate you guys are the real MVP. Thank you so much. All right, lovelies, let's dive into this video. So lovelies, I came across this video on my For You page on TikTok, and I thought to share with you guys where Asian parents are actually stressing out with the fact that their own is not getting admitted into Ivy schools the way at which it was when there was affirmative action. And I thought to share with you guys, and I'm just gonna roll the clip as well as some of other stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. Alright lovelies, let's dive into it.
Hey there friends, and good morning. This morning the Supreme Court has struck down affirmative action. What is affirmative action? Affirmative action was a program of positive action undertaken with conviction and effort to overcome the present effects of past practices, policies, or barriers to equal opportunity, and to achieve the full and fair participation of women, minorities, and individuals with disabilities found to be underutilized based on availability. So the case that came before the court was Students for Fair Admissions v. Harvard. The lawsuit alleged that the Ivy League University's race-conscious admissions process discriminated against Asian applicants. And the court ruled that Harvard already has very strict standards for admission to their school, and that the use of race in determining admissions to college is outdated and being used negatively to affect others. Now, what is concerning to experts is that Black and Latino admissions to Harvard has dropped, and Native Hawaiian and Native American applicants are also down this year, while Harvard admitted a record number of Asian Americans. That number is up 2.1% from last year, and just about 30% of admitted applicants identify as Asian American. The court noted that they used to affirm the principles of affirmative action, but it's basically gone too far. Quote, the programs lack sufficiently focused and measurable objectives warranting the use of race, unavoidably employ race in a negative manner, involve racial stereotyping, and lack meaningful endpoints. Those admission programs cannot be reconciled with the guarantees of the Equal Protection Clause. I'll have more later today.
This student went viral after suggesting that affirmative action policies ruined his chance of acceptance at top colleges.
Even though he had a near perfect GPA and SAT score, he was rejected by almost every top college that he applied to. And he says this because affirmative action policies prioritize accepting Black applicants to the detriment of Asians.
Now, we don't know anything about his essays or his extracurriculars or why he was rejected. Maybe he totally sucks, who knows?
But what we do know is that his claims about affirmative action are currently being reviewed by the Supreme Court.
Both Harvard and the University of North Carolina were sued last year by a nonprofit, alleging that their admissions policies unconstitutionally discriminate based on race. Data uncovered during the lawsuit revealed that Black applicants were 12 times more likely to get accepted at Harvard than Asian students with similar test scores and GPA.
Asian applicants' personality scores were also consistently ranked the lowest of all races.
And messages between admissions staff were discovered that placed a controversial emphasis on race.
For decades, the Supreme Court has ruled that affirmative action is legal. It most recently held that race can be considered an admission so long as it's narrowly tailored.
Which basically means that race can be one small part of a larger holistic process.
But opponents of affirmative action say that data uncovered in the lawsuit shows that race was much more than just a small part, and they want the whole policy ruled illegal for every school.
But supporters of affirmative action say that diversity in schools is hugely important, and that race should be part of a holistic process, especially to equalize any disadvantage faced by people of color.
They also point to things like legacy admissions as a much larger problem.
The court's decision is expected as early as next week, so follow us for a balanced review of that.
So Asians, this is for you. If you're not an Asian person, please keep moving. Please keep scrolling. Okay, I'll wait. All right, I have a question for y'all. How are y'all feeling? Because now that you guys have managed to get affirmative action completely out of school decisions when it comes to picking their candidates, how are y'all doing? I really want to know. See, y'all didn't think this through, did y'all? Y'all blamed us for the reason y'all weren't getting into colleges instead of us just being more qualified than y'all. Y'all didn't really think about that. Like, how dare Black people be more qualified than me? So I'm going to go to a white person and I'm going to get them to help me get affirmative action knocked down. And now that there is no affirmative action and y'all still worried about getting into a university, how are y'all doing? Because y'all forgot one main key. They used y'all dumbasses. They sure did. They managed to manipulate y'all into thinking that we were the problem instead of legacies. People that don't even have to have the grades, but just have to have the name to walk right through the door. Y'all thought we were wrong and we were the problem. And y'all just gave them more room to walk their little children right through the doors of Yale, right through the doors of Harvard, right through the doors of Brown, and leave y'all asses out in the cold. So I want to know, how does it feel? So Asians, this is for you. If you're The college application process can be so overwhelming and so stressful for all types of students and families. But the LA Times had a recent article that just came out describing how Asian American families and students are really feeling overwhelmed and stressed out, especially since the Supreme Court ruling in June that struck down affirmative action in college application and admissions decisions. But who originally brought that lawsuit to the court in the first place? Let's investigate. In the first college application season since the Supreme Court struck down affirmative action, Asian American families are more stressed out than ever about college admissions. As this commenter here said, I wonder why that is. After the affirmative action ruling, Asian Americans ask, what happens next? And to that I say, welcome. Welcome to the stress that we have all been feeling since forever. Because we tried to warn you. We told you this would happen. When you align yourself with certain people and certain factions, thinking that they'll open their arms to you and they'll want you on their campuses and they'll welcome you with open arms. Look, they played you. They did the old rope-a-dope, the okey-doke on you. And you can thank this man right here, Edward Blum, who helped that young man bring that court case to the Supreme Court to end affirmative action in college admission processes. Edward Blum, who's famous for his activism against affirmative action, yeah, that Edward Blum is the reason why y'all are now feeling stressed out post that decision in June. Because Asian American students felt that they were being discriminated against and that Black American kids were taking all the spots on Ivy League campuses. Legacy admissions were the ones taking your spots, not us. However, did you know that there are tons of scholarships that you can apply to? Oh, wait, those are now under attack also. People are now actively trying to get rid of minority and ethnic and diversity scholarships because they discriminate against other types of people. In college admissions, there are no guarantees. 10 AP classes, a stacked resume, dual enrollment, none of that matters. All the money in the world and private college counselors can't compete with someone who's a legacy from an Ivy League school.
I just love that for them. I love it for the Asian conservatives and the white men I still see making headlines about not getting into their top schools, that are not getting into the Ivy League. I am so happy for them. And I never thought I would find peace with them overturning affirmative action because they can't blame me anymore. They can't blame me anymore. They can't say it's my fault. They can't say it's reverse racism.
So I was at lunch today, and me and my friend were talking about this article, Post-Affirmative Action, Asian American Families Are More Stressed Than Ever About College Admission. He was super surprised at people in his community. He's part of the Asian community, by the way. But he was super surprised that people are more stressed because affirmative action being repealed was supposed to help them. I had to explain how they'd been duped because banning affirmative action isn't going to help them at all. They were just used again as a tool for white supremacy. They'd been trying to repeal affirmative action for years, but they were using white students as an example. This movement of getting affirmative action repealed didn't start getting momentum until they started using the Asian community. And now that affirmative action is gone, they are going to use this as an opportunity to just pump more legacy students into these institutions. And I had to explain how the modern minority myth is also another aspect of why so many people were duped. I just think we all need to realize the power that we have when we stick together. Black people and PLC across the country. Supremacy culture is going to try to divide us so they can get their agenda pushed no matter what, and we need to realize that.
So let's talk about this. Asians try to tell other Asians about affirmative action and what it would do to them. Black people try to tell Asians what would happen. Hispanics try to tell Asians what would happen if they went along with this. For Asians that went for this were just pawns for white supremacy. You got into bed with dogs and then you woke up with fleas. You didn't think that Ed Blum knew that this will not affect black people? HBCU rates have increased. Black people are still going to college because we have our own. Black women are going to college because we have our own. White supremacy will treat Asians like they're white until they're no longer needed, and then they're Asians again. What helps black people in America helps everyone in America. And you guys are now facing the consequences of what happens when you try to hurt black people. You end up.
You ever notice how the same right-wingers who ensured the Supreme Court overturned affirmative action, who ensured that Harvard fired its first black president, who ensured that Duke stopped all full-ride scholarships for black students, who ensured that Colombia is arresting students for combating war crimes against Palestinians, who ensured that a brown Muslim woman who is valedictorian is denied her right to give the commencement speech at USC, who ensured that despite all of that, white legacy admissions remain intact. You ever notice how those folks are the same ones telling us stop making everything about race?
Seriously, lovelies, this whole thing with the Palestinian, with the anti-blackness, with all of the controversy that is happening, right now on TikTok, like right this month on TikTok and all of social media, actually reminds me of affirmative action. There was one thing about, some of these POC people, like most of them oftentimes believe that, black people are the problem, black people are this, are that, not even knowing that these same people that they keep on calling actually do things that have everyone's interest at heart. Okay, let's take for instance this affirmative action, that I think it was sometime November last year, which I actually reacted to. It took to internet, it all began with, a South Asian boy that they said that since he was not able to get admitted into Ivy school, or not minding the fact that he got some scores that can actually got him into these schools, but I thought he was rejected, and he was like, okay, instead of him to apply to other schools that might actually accept him, he decided that no, he was going to go further and fight and to actually know what the real cause, why is it that he was rejected upon all his intelligence and all of that. And that is when it had come to their attention that okay, the problem at which then the Asian people was not admitted into the schools was because of affirmative actions, which actually give rooms to people that is not intelligent, that is less intelligent to get into these Ivy schools, despite the fact that they don't have this course. So he went ahead to do whatever he did, and they teamed up with other people. They teamed up with especially pan-colored people to strike down affirmative action, thinking that they are doing that. They are doing that to get back to black people. Like they teamed up, they did everything in their power to strike down affirmative actions, thinking that when they struck it down, it's going to give more rooms for them to get admitted into these schools and not give rooms for black people, which affirmative action with their own mindsets, benefited not to get into the schools. But without them actually realizing that the real problem is actually not from black people. The people at which this affirmative action benefited the most was actually was actually the pan-colored women. But because a lot of people, especially pan-colored people, is always finding favors, from this, especially Asian people always finding favors from these pan-colored people, thinking that when they actually, connive with them, they are going to treat them like the way they treat their own, then giving them admission and granting rooms for their offspring to go into these Ivy schools. Like it was actually a back and forth. It was just like something that is happening now between this, anti-blackness, it's Palestinian and all of that. It was just a battle of Asian people and black people. Like Asian people, they want to struck down black people, like was trying to tell Asian people, no, we are actually not the problem. You don't understand. This is not, if we struck it down, it's going to affect everyone. It will affect you, but it will affect the other, superior people. But no, they refuse. They decided that they are going to connive with these other people to strike affirmative action. And they believe that these people that, okay, since we are all working hand to hand, we are going to it's going to be a positive result for us. Anyway, you know how it is. You know how black people, though they just were like, they were like, okay, we are done convincing you guys, we are done trying to make you guys understand that we are not the problem, let's just do whatever you want to do. And affirmative action was struck down. Then fast forward to post affirmative action, they're not being stressed. Like, they're not being stressed. It's all over for social media. A lot of them are complaining that their pupils, like their offspring, their kids are not getting admitted into these Ivy schools compared to the way at which they were admitted during the time of affirmative action. But this was what black people was trying to tell you guys, but you guys refused, thinking that they are the problem, thinking that you are going to benefit off it, but black people will not benefit. Like, now these people don't want to understand that, people with the are just looking for who they can use against black people, who they can use to keep on putting them down, but they just want to be an scapegoat. It's like, seriously, lovelies. And when black people are just trying to let them understand that the reason why they don't have to strike this down, they just don't want to listen. They feel as if they don't know what they're talking about. They're probably saying whatever they're saying because they know that they are benefiting from it. But now look at it. Like, just look at it. Anyway, lovelies, why not just leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying, harassment, or whatsoever. We're just here for educational and informative purposes. So please, if you don't subscribe to this channel, please do your girl a huge favor to click on the subscription button, subscribe, leave a thought, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one. And if you have watched up to this extent, thank you so much for all the love and support. Why not just leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. And do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying, harassment, or whatsoever. We're just here for educational purposes. So please subscribe to this channel if you're yet to do that. Like, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.